Sahara. It's a match made in heaven.
And it really matches amazingly.
Highly recommended.
Please come and see this show.
I could be anyone. Take my pride, my love.
To the UK, you've just headlined it at a stage at Glastonbury and won over everybody. And now you're making the use of being in Europe. You're going to Edinburgh Festival and you're going to the very posh Southbank in London. So before we start talking, tell us a little bit about what Brief Bite Club is about.
Brief Factory is the company. Bite Club is the new show.
Okay.
This will be our 11th year coming to this side of the planet from Australia. For those people who have seen our work before, you will know and you will remember that, you know, it is Brief's show in its every form that it is. It's circus, it's drag, it's burlesque, it's comedy, and it's wrapped up in a ball of glittery theatre. And this is a brand new production that we made during the craziness of the last few years. And this time we're collaborating with an amazing musician, Sahara Beck. And so she's an incredible pop synth rock singer from Australia. She has a band. So this is a real shift in gears for us. So this still definitely, like I said, is in the spirit of Briefs. It's irreverent, it's ridiculous. It's another kind of this is our 5th major production. And, you know, it wouldn't make sense to make the same show. So we thought we would shift gears and collaborate with a musician. And this has been it's been a real growth for us. Some people, you know, quite often our shows get compared to one another. But just like children, we don't have a favorite. And they're all just different and they all have their special shine.
So your show is very queer. It's very outrageous. Is it very hedonistic as well? Yeah, look, the show is all those things. I think, you know, in a time where we've had a history of queer culture that has given us the ability and the license to really continue to push the envelope. This Brief's work is about pushing the envelope and if not burning it. I think we've come from a history of queer culture that has been punk and on the edge and alternate. So we really don't want to take that for granted. I think it's important that us as artists and as part of this community and part of many communities, it's really important for us to kind of continue carrying the conversation and pushing people's brains, pushing people's psyche, pushing our world. Like, you know, especially in the past few years, we've had to kind of look at ourselves a lot. Yeah. And this show is definitely about looking at ourselves, but it's also, while we're looking at ourselves, it's also about celebrating one another. I think there's something that we've learned in the last few years is that we don't need a reason to celebrate, and that this show really is about capturing the moment, and the moment can be whatever you want it to be, whether or not it's a 7-foot bearded islander drag queen on stage with this tiny little whippet singer, or whether or not it's a trapeze artist in a bird bath. You know, really about exploring the fantasy world that is circus and drag and comedy. So you really are a collective. You all meld in together and do the whole show together?
Yeah, definitely. I think something that we find really important is the concept of collaboration. I'm I guess at the head of the ship, orchestrating the creative process, but every show is definitely owned by each individual of the cast. I don't know how to work any other way. This is definitely something that we have carved out for ourselves. I think you know, it's been really important for us for artists to kind of take ownership, but to also bring their excellence to the table. And I get off on seeing artists being amazing, and I get off on the idea that artists are gifting us this treat of like ridiculousness. And I think for those people who have seen a Brief show, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, we look forward to coming into your brains.
So tell me why you call yourself the Briefs.
So we started Briefs in 2008. It was a warehouse party in Brisbane, and
we were broke artists, and we
That's a good reason to start.
we hired a storeroom at the back of a bookshop, a big warehouse space, and we were trying to think of a concept for our costumes because we wanted, I guess it's what they call now an immersive creative party. So the artists mingled with the audience. We served drinks. We were busboys collecting glasses, serving behind the bar, but we needed a uniform that would kind of unify us, and that uniform was Y-front briefs, the cheap pair that you get from the supermarket. And then a few years later, so the party was just called Briefs, All Mail, All Vaudeville, All Trash, and it evolved. It evolved into a collective that felt like it had something substantial behind it, and we really felt like this collective grew from a party. But so we kind of came up with the concept of Briefs Factory. There's a production line of creative idiots, and it really did start with a pair of Y-front underwear.
So most of us here in Europe and America, when we think of Australia queer, we think of Sydney. So tell me, you're now putting Brisbane on the map as a queer source, a queer city?
Yeah. Sydney, of course, is our queer capital, but again, there's room for every city to bring their A game, and Brisbane is quite often the butt of jokes in terms of it's a big country city, country town. It's we're quite often left off the touring circuit when big artists come. They come to Sydney and Melbourne, but I guess out of isolation and being the butt of jokes, and Brisbane has a really interesting political history. It is quite often donned as being backwards, but I guess out of that headspace, some really interesting punk creativity is born. And I think for us in Brisbane, for us in Australia, we're very isolated. And again, out of isolation comes interesting work that you won't find anywhere. So while many parties didn't come to our town, we had no choice but to make our own party, which is how.
And you said you've been to the UK and Bath. So how do we Brits take you? How do we get your humour and everything? Is it international queer humour now?
Yeah, definitely. And it's something I noticed in the UK is there's, again, it's embedded in a history of theatre.
Yeah.
And that theatre also has a really kind of strong through line of queer culture. This concept of drag and panto, which doesn't really exist in Australia. It really puts, and it's in everyone's peripheral. Like, it's in the bars, it's in our history books, it's in our old school theatre, it's in Shakespeare, so I think, and I think the UK audiences really understand us because there's a real irreverent sense of humor that is a bit taking the piss of yourself, which is very Australian. And I think, I guess we have a strong connection. And it's interesting too, like even we're just starting to break the US market, and it's interesting to try and figure out how we navigate that by trying to make the same joke equate.
Yeah, it's interesting because living here, as I have done for years now, I still have a hard job explaining to my American audiences what panto is. They don't get it.
Yeah.
I must go back. I love the fact when I checked you out on your Edinburgh site, you said there's no charge in the audience for babies. Does this mean that this is a family-friendly show, or did you not know about the baby scene?
This show is definitely not an all ages show. We do have content that is an all ages show, but I think maybe this quote is referring to it. This can transcend ages. I think less babies. Bring your grandmother, bring your grandfather, bring your uncle, bring your mum and dad. I think something that's really important for a brief show is a diverse audience. While we're really champion having a diverse representation on stage, it's also really important for us to not preach to the choir. It's really important to have a wide for people who need an in to queer culture. This is a perfect way there's something in the show that you will be able to latch onto, whether or not it's Sahara and the band, or whether or not it's the acrobat, the bounce juggling. There is something there for you to have into this world. And again, theatre has the ability to create escapism. And I think, you know, we have our place in this role post-pandemic, and you know, we've had our frontliners making sure we survive. Now it's our turn as artists to remind people how extraordinary humans are.
Well, what I'm very proud of being British is that we don't need explanations. We'll go see it and take it from there. I'm not running my American audiences down, but they do need a definition of that. And I like the fact that you are stretching all these definitions. You're giving us entertainment that we really want, even though we don't know it yet.
Yeah, you don't know it yet. That's perfect.
I don't know, but I'm excited, and I'm excited. We'll have somebody in London go see it, and good luck with both London and Edinburgh. Edinburgh is one of my favourite cities, and I hope one day we'll see you over here across the pond in the US.
We're working on it. We're going to be that side of the planet, and we can't wait to share Bike Club with London audiences at Southbank Centre. Can you believe they let us inside the building?
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But I love the fact you keep referring it to the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
Okay. It's really good to talk to you, and good luck with your tour, and I hope we see you very soon.
Yeah. Take care, and I hope you get to come. I hope we get to see you in the flesh very soon.